Polar bears need about 2 kilograms of fat intake per day to maintain enough energy to survive, and they naturally feed on ring, bearded, harp, and hooded seals. They also commonly eat carcasses of beluga whales, walruses, narwhals, and bow-headed whales. When food is unavailable, they resort to eating reindeers, rodents, fish, eggs, and vegetation. However, if these secondary food forms are unavailable, polar bears turn to human garbage, particularly plastics that are floating in the water.
The scope of this problem is almost worldwide. Roughly 300 billion pieces of plastic garbage wind up in the ocean each year, and these plastics can take centuries to degrade, and even they tend to break into smaller pieces rather than degrade. Microplastics, or tiny scraps and beads and fibers from plastic trash, end up being digested by plankton and filter-feeding fish. Researchers at the Alfred Wegener Institute discovered the samples from 5 regions in the Arctic Ocean containing up to 12,000 microplastic particles per liter of sea ice. Possible sources of the plastic include the massive garbage patch in the Pacific Ocean. These plastics release industrial chemicals, allowing fat-soluble poisons to accumulate with each step in the food chain.
There are no positive impacts for polar bears eating plastics, as it disrupts the food chain as a whole and is directly detrimental to the health of the polar bears. The most prevalent argument for this is that global warming does not exist. However, extensive research has proven that to be incorrect. Plastic pollution causes hormone disturbances in polar bears, with some polar bears being born with 2 sets of testes. Sato, a Japanese chemist, and his team's research shows that when plastic decomposes, it releases a toxic chemical called bisphenol A, or BPA, which causes additional pollution. Therefore, plastics don't break down in an animal's body after being consumed. Instead, the released chemicals have active reproductive systems. In addition to the chemically caused reproductive risks, they are faced with environmental risks from eating plastic as well. Without sea ice and seals, polar bears are left to search for other food sources, which can lead them into communities, where garbage dumps, sled dog yards, and human food storage offer easy pickings. However, in these communities, bears often meet people, which commonly leads to the murder of the bear in order to protect the humans.
Communities, government, and organizations are working together to reduce these defense kills. This is an issue that everyone can get involved in through recycling plastics and reducing their own use of plastics. Governments need to interfere as well. This is already beginning to be a trend that can be seen in the UK, as the government imposed a 2015 tax on plastic bags, and in India as well, as it is vowed to ban all single-use of plastics by 2022. However, there is still a long way to go. As an apex predator at the top of the food web, polar bears can signal that there are problems in the Arctic marine ecosystem and are likely to be amongst the most significantly affected species as the Arctic warms and sea ice melts. If we are not careful enough, there is the possibility that polar bears will become extinct due to the lack of food, ingestion of plastic, and defense kills.